let's talk about Brexit and what Keir Starmer has said. He has talked about Brexit. He has said this to the BBC.
Steps.
But what's next?
We've already taken steps on food and agriculture to align with the single market. That's the sovereign decision that we have taken. I think we should get closer, and if it's in our national interest, to have even closer alignment with the single market, then we should consider that. We should go that far.
Sir Bill Cash is with us now, the former Conservative MP and one of the most prominent Leave campaigners. Sir Bill, thank you for joining me on Talk Drive this afternoon.
Hello, very nice to speak to you.
And a happy New Year as well. The Prime Minister wants to pursue even closer alignment with the single market. He wants to go further with the EU if it is in the national interest. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, I'm not at all surprised he would say that. He was calling for a second referendum within days of the first one having gone through with a yes vote. In other words, we won that one. And all I can say is that it's typical of him, but I won't bang on about that because I think the substance of the issues is what people really want to hear about.
Well, when we talk about the substance, when we talk about the substance of the issue and what it would actually mean, what would that substance be, and why do you think he's playing games?
Well, I spoke in the on the Single European Act. I was in the House of Commons at the time, and I put down a sovereignty amendment, and actually I discussed it with cabinet ministers at the time, and the bottom line is that sovereignty means that you govern yourself. It means you do not have laws imposed upon you, as is laid down by the European Communities Act, whereby you're subjugated to all European lawmaking, which, by the way, is done by the Council of Ministers. That's where the laws are made, behind closed doors, without even a transcript. And it's a completely undemocratic system. I was on the European Scrutiny Committee in the House of Commons from 1984 until 2024.
Wow.
I was on it for 40 years.
I was born in 1984, Sir Bill.
Yeah, and I became chairman for the last 15 of those years. I do think I do know a little bit about it. All I can say to you is that it is an undemocratic system. We were being subjugated to laws made by other countries, which made us uncompetitive. Examination of those laws demonstrates the extent to which, without us rejecting or amending a single one of them over that period of time, we were being subjugated to their will. That was the point.
And I wonder Sir Bill, if that continues when Sir Keir Starmer, with some of the measures that he has actually announced already, when he says there are plans to match EU food safety regulations, that regulatory alignment, linking British and EU carbon emissions trading schemes, and striking this European youth mobility deal as well, the Erasmus scheme.
You're absolutely got it right. The point is this, that all this is pure sophistry. In fact, it's much worse than that. I would say it was deceitful, because for practical purposes, he knows perfectly well. He's actually quite a good lawyer, but he knows what he's talking about. And he is now actually saying something which is completely contrary to the referendum result in the United Kingdom. We would be subjugated. This dynamic alignment is under a thing called, I think it's called the Product Liability Act, and many others as well that they're piling on. The whole thing is being done behind closed doors. But I want to say something else as well. It will be done by majority vote eventually through the machinations of this government. But just to give your listeners an indication of how bad it is, Parliament was set off for a general election in late May 2024. It's only just over a year ago. In fact, the decision that was taken by the government in, I think it was early July, was to abolish the European Scrutiny Committee, which has existed since 1973 and chaired successively, not only by Conservatives, but also by Labour chairmen. And they got rid of it because they did not want people to know what is going on. And that is what is happening right now. He's making a claim, but he's also hatching out a whole load of complete betrayal of this country and of the referendum and of what the voters called for. And he's doing it in full view.
How much of this is what you think Dame Priti Patel has said, where she says that the Prime Minister is surrendering our freedom in a desperate effort to keep Labour backbenchers on side. We're in this strange position where we have a Prime Minister who had 411 Labour MPs elected 18 months ago, yet on a number of issues, including welfare, winter fuel allowance and others, he doesn't seem to be in control of his party.
Completely right. And not only that, the reality is that the Corbyn, who was his predecessor as leader of the Labour Party, actually got more votes than he did in the general election. And furthermore, we lost a lot of votes because of the activities of other parties. But the bottom line is that this is a complete surrender, and he knows what he's doing. He's doing it deliberately, and it's to divert attention from the mess that they're making over the economy. He's got this strange idea that the British people, whose instincts I do trust, which is why I was always a very active Eurosceptic and led the Maastricht campaign and many other campaigns on this, the British people will not and do not want to be subjugated. And when they wake up to this, and I've got news for him, we are now organised. We're getting a huge campaign on a Brexit fight back, which is going to completely stun him when it comes out, because we're going through every single thing that they're saying and doing. We've got a meeting next week. We shall be working out exactly how we go about it. It'll be a monumental campaign, and it will shake them to their roots.
Well, keep us updated on that, Sir Bill, and if we need to speak again on it, we should. I just wonder what you make, just finally, on this idea of a deal for lawyers and a Brexit reset, a drive by Number 10 to get closer to the single market perhaps, officials pursuing a mutual agreement that would mean British professional qualifications were recognised in the EU and vice versa. Is there anything wrong with that, do you think?
Well, I'm a lawyer myself, and I've been campaigning against the EU precisely because I believe that lawyers ought to believe and understand in both sovereignty, our unique unwritten constitution and the principle of legality, and also at the same time to make sure that we are telling the British people, according to our laws, what laws they should obey. So to take the lawyers back into it is yet another proof of the fact that what he's trying to do is to get all the lawyers to harmonise together in such a way that it's a complete betrayal and sellout.
Sir Bill Cash, thank you for joining me today. Sir Bill led the Maastricht referendum campaign. He's a former Conservative MP, Eurosceptic politician. He held a leadership role, as he was telling us there, in the European Scrutiny Committee, vocal supporter of the Brexit deal. So that is his view on all of that.